the main event, the biggest event, televised, going out to the world, and we're asked to perform at that event, and they said, so the producer was like, not gonna happen. We're like, oh, you can't, no, seriously, Glenn Beck, and you know it's one of those things where you're trying to get in the door, and they're like, yeah, I've got VIP tickets, and everyone says that. So like, Glenn Beck said that we could perform, and they're like, yeah, right, okay, all right, no problem, see ya. Right. You know, and I was just like, I wish I had Glenn Beck's number so I could say, hey, look, Glenn, talk to your boy, tell him what you told us, you know. But we had no control, nothing. And so anyway, the next day, I was like, you know what, I've had an amazing time anyway. This is good enough for me. I have accomplished what I wanted to accomplish and more. Had all these amazing experiences, life-changing, life-altering. So we went to the place called the Wailing Wall, which is where like all the Jews dressed up in their garb, their hats and everything, and they will literally they'll have their hand on the wall. It's one of those ones where people write prayers on a piece of paper and they stick it in the slots of the wall. It's one of the most holiest places for the Jews. Right beside the Dome of the Rock, and the Dome of the Rock is the place where they have this rock and they've built a temple over it, and it's got gold roofing, which is the place where where it was said that Abraham sacrificed Isaac, or almost sacrificed Isaac, on that particular rock. That's why they call it the Dome of the Rock. So right there by the Wailing Wall, and I am just having amazing experiences. I'm seeing these people. Just the way they pray, and they've got their rosary beads, they've got their, not rosaries, just their beads, and they've got all their stuff. They have this thing called a phylactery, which is on the top of their head, and it's a small box, and they strap to the top of their head, and it has scriptures in it, and it marks the scripture where it talks about how we should have the word of God in our minds at all times. So they're literally taking that as what it means, you know. So I'm having this experience, look at these people thinking, look at their devotion.
Yeah,
look at their devotion. I'm like, if we had, as Mormons, had half that devotion, we would be dangerous. We would be incredibly dangerous, and we would see God literally every single day, I believe, in everything that we're doing. I mean, it's incredible. You know, the only time we devote our time to God is before we're going to eat and while we're at church. That's it, done. FHE every now and then. That's it. I mean, this was incredible, the devotion they had. And I was just like, already just feeling just this powerful experience, feeling. So I'm literally drained. I feel drained, cheap drained. And so as I'm coming back, we're heading off and to head back to the hotel. We've had a long day of just visiting sites. And I'm tired. Then all of a sudden, I look at the phone's ringing, and it's an Israeli number. And I'm like, what's this? Someone's calling me from Israel. No one has my number here. And so I just let it go to voicemail. And then Clyde was like, I was telling Clyde, I said, yeah, I think someone called me from Israel. I was like, how'd you know? I said, well, there's the number. He's like, you idiot! That could be the people from Glenn Beck's people. I'm like, why are they going to want to call us? Check your message. And I'm like, I don't want to take it off Roman. I was putting Roman. That's crazy number. He says, well, give me the phone. He says, give me the number. And he called it. And he gives me the phone. And someone answers, hi, this is so-and-so. I'm like, hey, somebody called me from this number. And he was like, oh, yeah, this is so-and-so from Glenn Beck's office. We're calling to say that, hey, you need to, will you stay online or just wait because you're going to get a call? I said, when is it going to come? He says, probably in the next 10 minutes. I said, who is it? He says, don't worry about it. I said, what's it about? He says, don't worry about it. It'll be made known to you. So I said, okay, fine. So anyway, the phone rings. Answer it. This is so-and-so, Joe, so-and-so from Glenn Beck's office and the Restoring Courage office, and he was like, will you be willing to perform at the main event, at Glenn Beck's main event? And I'm like, oh, I'm thinking they're talking about New York, like back when everything's done and there's something going on. I was like, well, when is this? What date is it? He's like, today. I'm like, what time? In 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
Actually, in 3 hours, you need to be here for a sound check. I'm like, oh, okay, no problem. We are jumping up and down, going like crazy. We're going crazy. We ran, hightail it back to the hotel, get a shower, get changed, put on our suits. We turn up back there at the event. So 2 o'clock we're supposed to be there. We turn up 2 o'clock. We turn up 1:55. And we get there and we're sitting around and there's just like cameras everywhere. This place is just beautiful, all set right by the Wailing Wall. Nobody has ever performed it. They've never had singers, any kind of event in this place because it's so sacred.
Oh my gosh.
And so anyway, we get there, there's a shoot, there's a stage, orchestra pit, the whole thing. So we turn up and we're just sitting. We're looking for the person we're supposed to see, and they say the person you're supposed to meet is not here yet. So we're sitting there, 2 o'clock, 2:30, no one. 3 o'clock, nobody. 4 o'clock, this thing starts at 4:30, by the way, so I'll tell you that. Because they changed the time. It was supposed to start at 5, but apparently they decided to change it because they were told by some the Israeli officials to change it because that's the time that Ramadan is still on and it's a huge holy event. And out of respect, Glenn Beck decided to change it, or his camp decided to change it, so now it's 4:30. So 4 o'clock, we're still sitting there, no sound check, don't know who to talk to, nothing. Anyway, some girl is sitting in front of us, she's like, where are these artists that's supposed to sing? And I guess that's all we asked, we're like, oh, here we are. And they're like, oh, you get on stage now. And so we get on stage, we rehearse, everything's great. So we're performing, we don't know what time we're performing, we have no idea. We're presuming that it's going to be the pre-show. So still we're thinking it's going to be the opening, it's not going to be televised, it's going to be before the televised opening. So the pre-show starts, they didn't call our name. Some other people get up to speak, you've got this rabbi that speaks, the mayor of Israel speaks, all these people speak, and it's going and going, and we're sitting there in the talent tent, sweating like crazy. They've got this little AC thing, we're dying of heat. I've got my suit on, my shirt, my tie on, everything, and we're just waiting.
Wait, hold on. Let me make sure you got some AC going right there.
Okay. So we're just waiting. Anyway, finally, somebody comes up to us and says, "Wait!" It was like 4 o'clock. Glenn Beck gets up to speak. They're like, "You're on right after Glenn Beck." This is his main speech. We're asking
the whole purpose of
his main speech. They ask, they're like, Alex, you're singing right after this. In fact, before Glenn Beck finishes his speech, you need to get on stage and be on stage before he finishes. You've got 2 minutes, 30 seconds to sing your song. Our song is 5 minutes, by the way. We haven't even had a chance to change it or cut it or anything. We're like, how are we going to do this? Anyway, we're like, we're going to go by the Spirit. Ask the Lord to help us. So I get up, and right after Glenn Beck's finished, everyone's going crazy. Wild. After he's finished his speech, then I get up. Clyde starts playing the piano, I start singing. As I'm singing, I am in a different place. I've never been here. I am singing from somewhere else, a place I don't think I've ever sung from before.
Well, and you sung from some physical places.
Yeah. I'm just like, it was like I fell asleep, and then I woke up after the song was finished. All I know is when the song was finished and I woke up, there was people cheering, there was people standing up, waving Israeli flags, waving American flags, waving all kinds of flags, jumping up and down, and I'm like, what the heck's going on? I'm pinching myself. I finished the performance, and then that was it. I mean, we were like, that night at the hotel room, I'm like on cloud 9. Then after that, the next day, I am walking around, and people are stopping me. Were you the one that sang? Were you the guy that sang? Yes, sir. I was the guy that sang. Oh my gosh, this is that, this is that.
Just in public, people
public people who were there because they had another tent in another place where there was 5,000 people watching on a big jumbotron screen. So people coming up and saying, "Was that you that performed?" Yeah. Did you hear about what Glenn Beck said about you? I said, no. He says, well, he flew out to South Africa the next day, and he's broadcasting from South Africa, and he says there was a guy. Oh, by the way, I got to go back. Right before after we did the sound check, Glenn Beck takes After we did the sound check, some security guy grabs hold of me and he says, "Can you come with me a second?" I don't know what I'm thinking. Maybe he's going to get me to go, and he's going to give me a mic stand or something like that. So he grabs hold of me. He takes me to the corner of the Wailing Wall, and right at the corner there's like a stairs going down, and he says, "Glenn Beck wants to speak to you." And I'm like, okay, no problem. So he takes me down these winding stairs, we go down these winding stairs into this cave. And in this cave, there's like all these guys with headphones and microphones and clip charts and all that kind of stuff. Obviously there were the producers and stuff like that. And Glenn Beck comes up and he says, "Alex, I just want to thank you for being here. And first of all, I just want to say, that song that you sang, I was just so moved." And then he said, "Who are you?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Where are you from?" I said, "Oh," and then he stops and he's like, "Wait, are you Mormon?" I said, "Yeah." I sing in the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, and all of a sudden his eyes just like went like saucers. Huge. He said, wait a minute. He said, you're that guy that sings solos, right? I said, yeah, I sing the solos. He says, oh my gosh. And he's talking to his friends now, and he says, this is the guy. And then he stops. And he comes down and he looks at me and he says, my main speech that I wrote for 8/4/11, the main speech that I wrote 2 weeks ago when I was flying on the plane to Israel, I had a song on repeat, and it was a song called I Want Jesus to Walk With Me, and it was you singing it, and he had no idea.
Oh, wow.
He said, I wrote my speech to that song. So of course, I'm freaking out now. I've got tears coming out my eyes. He's got tears coming out of his eyes, and I said, I've got to tell you. I said to him, I sang that song, Make Them Hear You. I had sang it 10 years ago. I was auditioning for Ragtime at the Pioneer Theatre, and I didn't get in. And I was so gutted. I was devastated. I was heartbroken because I put everything in it. I worked on that song, and I fell in love with that song. I didn't get in. So anyway, I said to him, I had a strong prompting 10 years ago that said, one day, you will sing that song at somewhere important. And I said, Glenn, this is the day. And then he just like, he said to his friends, you got to get this, we got to get him on the radio. When we came back, we got to get him on the radio and he's got to talk about it. So, I mean, and then after, so forward to the next day, I had some people come up to me and said, did you hear Glenn Beck's radio show the day after in South Africa? I said, no. I said, what is it about?
I heard some people talk about it here
too. He talks
too.
about you. I said, what do you mean? They said he talks about you because people were asking him, who was it that sang that song at the end? And so he started talking about me, talking about this, how this happened, and that how I wasn't even supposed to sing. But I knew that I was going to sing, somehow, some reason.
You were totally prepared for that.
It was just amazing. And so, that was the experience. Let me tell you where we're going, buddy. We've got to get back on that main road.
Isn't this where we're going? Isn't this the place?
Emerson.
Isn't this the house? Isn't this?